Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean,
Alright,
that's a
sick.
reasonable-
Alright.
They know not.
Chicken up.
Alright,
Shut
guys, shut up.
Origins. Tori, originally a frog orphan, grew up in India and came to be known as King of Far Far Away. Was crushed by Shrek's footcock. Gershly is wrath, will crush you in a second with monster cock, won't feel bad afterwards. Thermal, the lust whore, ruler of all cursed images and will suck your cock dry to the ends and the corners of the world. Yoa, the Princess Leia of this fanfiction, constantly abused throughout, will do anything for cock. Space Mermaid, the mermaid of space who is a leather whore. Her leather boots were made out of cock. Daddy Hajik, destroyer of all thoughts and thought sergeant, lover of Trump, former lover of Yoa, is extremely strong and overpowered. Weaknesses are being called daddy and cock. Chef, the embodiment of envy, newcomer and is fucking awful at literature. Fanfic consists of cock. Trump, former best friend of Shrek, lover of Hajik, secretly Hajik but in another physical form, left his monopoly over money and throne to his ex-wife, Cork. Shrek, originally owned by Tori, turns on Tori, former best friend of Trump, kills himself seppuku style, with his own cock. Richard, patron bird of Vore himself, God, a pelican, also referred to as Tricky Dick. Boy, always on mute, to be honest I don't know why he's here, he just is, the only sane one. Chapter 1, Sin. The world was ripe with love, but not for me. No, not for Tori, the Frog King, the Spider Fucker, the Mad Lad. No, I, Tori, was forsaken, abandoned by a cold, ruthless, unforgiving god, and it seemed that everyone was in on the joke. I would ask my mother, Space Grandma,
Why does God hate me?
and she would reply.
Because you're fucking Tori.
I started crying, juicy, acidic tears rolling down my cheeks.
But if I'm an idiot, what does that make you?
A Chadless fucker.
She responded. I ran up to my room to speak with the only friends I thought I had. Gershly, Yoa, Ereboy, Omnistorm, Thermal. But they were all in a 5-man voice chat. No room for the poor, lonely Frog King. I went to Real Talk, but there was no one. I went to memes, but there was no one. In a last-ditch effort, I went to Cursed Images, and what I found there, what I saw, frightened and awed me.
What the fuck?
I whispered, salivating over the shoes. They were beautiful, perfect. I wanted more.
Please.
I murmured to my computer screen. Suddenly, without preamble or warning, I was graced with the dark energy of the patron bird of Vore itself, the pelican. He spoke in the most soothing, most dulcet of tones. Tori, I can tell, you have suffered much. Let me help you, my sweet summer child. He lifted me in his strong, toned wings and began to soar off out of my bedroom. I don't know exactly how, but he demolished my fucking ceiling. And we were off. No time to think about the crumbling ruins of my home, if it could even be called that. No time to worry about my mother, who, just minutes prior, had called me a fucking idiot. No time to think about any of these things. What mattered now was that I was safe, in the Vore bird's lustful and secure grasp.
Oh god.
What is your name, oh great one?
My name is Richard, but in all honesty, I have no need for a name. You will not live long enough to call me by it.
A worm?
Whoa!
But, Dick, I love you.
He's pelly thick. I know this, but you have sexual intercourse with spiders. You are tainted, child. I decided to stop speaking. My words could not compare with what came out of the great Vore hole. I let myself instead focus on the sky overhead and the breeze that brushed against my frog skin. Why so quiet? The Vore god asked. I could not think of an answer. I could not think at all. What had become of my brain? I reached up for it, on top of my head, but could it be? It was gone! Richard, that tricky dick of a bird, had eaten my fucking cranium. Cuck. I fell limp in his buff and rope-like avian arms. He didn't give a shit. I lay there, barely breathing, but able to speak, if only for a few seconds. I raised my head to his bat-like ear and spoke thus.
What the fuck, Richard?
But instead of letting me die, instead of taking away my suffering, Dick swallowed me whole. His powerful throw muscles pushed me into his smooth, plush stomach. Brimstone materialized beneath my webbed phalanges. I felt the fiery burning sensation that only hell could bring. Yes, there it was. All 7 goddamn circles of it. I could see the guardians of each. Thermal for lust, Space Mermaid for sloth, Chef for envy, Gershly for wrath, Hajik for bride, Yoa for greed, and lastly, a smaller yet still just as sexy and intimidating Richard. I knew I would have to get past them all in order to escape this prison of flesh. First, Thermal and his palace of lust. His walls were covered with only one image. I cowered in fear and arousal. The feelings that image spurred in me, well, they were downright unholy. But I had to move forward. I knocked down the walls of the castle and stormed right into the throne room. There he was, sitting atop a throne of spiders, smirking knowingly, as though he could see past my mortal facade and into the deepest crevices of my spider-fucking mind. I slapped him across the face with my frog tongue, and he instantly dropped all of his cursed images and surrendered.
Please, continue.
One of the mouths of the shoes on the walls opened to let me pass through. I could now go on to the next circle of hell. As soon as the mouth finished opening, Thermal let out a cry as he evaporated back to the real world. He was defeated, and his purpose had been fulfilled. As I walked over the moist, fleshy tongue that had emerged and carried on through the mouth cave, I started to hear strange whispers. "Roblox dead," one hissed. Another let out a belching, "Spider pussy." Anytime I hopped forward another step, I heard my desires get louder and louder, echoing all around me, taunting me. They started screaming all the things that I wanted. "Vore! You're frogs!" I couldn't take it much longer. I had to do something before my desires took hold. I grabbed my crown and cut a hole in the floor of the mouth cave. It immediately fell apart and gave way to what could only be described as kinky. Trademark. There she was, Space Mermaid in all her scaly glory. She was lounging on a set of well-decorated pillows, embroidered in shimmering golden green. Her deep brown hair ran down and over the couch she was laying on, as her eyelids fluttered open upon noticing my arrival. I instantly noticed her shoes.
Oh my god.
Leather bonds ran up and down her tanned skin, but she was in no hurry to remove them. She was in no hurry to remove her shoes either, however arousing they might be. She was in no hurry to do anything. She was the guardian of sloth after all. This one wasn't exactly in the mood to fight. Rather, she let me pass right through as though I wasn't even there. Thank God, if there even was one. Next, envy. Wrath. Pride. Greed. And gluttony. Chapter 2. Electric Boogaloo. Vore, more commonly known as the King, was once believed to be the ruler of the vast kingdom of Far Far Away, and was famous and widely known. All those who lived in Far Far Away showed all types and sorts of loyalty to King Vore. However, there was this one deep, dark secret hidden in the dank gutters of the castle. Of all things you could have said, it would be the last thing you would have thought of. Vore. No one would have thought that this lust, this desire for such things would be Tori's darkest secret. Tori had practiced this, forcing her castle guards to take civilians from the kingdom and villagers from outside the protected walls of the kingdom for her to Vore. However, there was one person that saw right through these scandalous acts that no one else did. They were known as the Yeet Police. Sergeant Hajik and Officer Trump planned to invade the castle at night in order to defy Tori's Vorlius acts. Right then, Hajik. Oh right, I'm Hajik. Are you ready? Shut the fuck up.
Amazing.
Are you ready, babe? Sergeant Hijik had asked his partner in crime.
Anytime. That Tory bitch is fake news.
Trump replied. Hijik winked at him, took Trump by the hand, shook their asses a little, and Anime jumped over the wall. They landed over the wall. It was dark outside and the guards could not see the duo. They sneaked past the guards and into a room. The door behind them had locked. Then, out of nowhere, a murky shadow appeared from behind. It was Thermal.
You will never get past my walls of cursed images.
Thermal shouts as he begins to take out his trap card, attempting to be intimidating but actually just fucking flailing and being flat out weird.
Flaming?
Get the fuck out of here! Let's beat a sand, Sarge!
Trump retorted, but as soon as Trump began to take out his nunchucks, Hillary came from behind and groped his ball sacks.
What?
Trump's face had blushed a deep red. As soon as Sergeant Hijik turned around, his eyes and fists burned with rage. Hijik let out an autistic yell and testicle slapped the Clinton princess across the face. "Hands off my man, Thoricus!" Hijik yelled, grabbing Trump by the waist as Hillary fell down in defeat and melted into Thermal's cursed image. Thermal didn't want part of that shit, so he dipped. The doors unlocked and the duo proceeded to walk into the next room. It was dark and lonely and quite cold, and Hijik had heard tiny sniffles and whimpers, begging for help. "Hey, do you hear that?" the Sarge asked Trump. Trump nodded. He didn't hear shit because CNN had filled his ears with fake news and Hillary had sexually abused him a year ago with her 30,000 plus emails. See the first Discord Tale story circa 1956. Hijik turned around to see Yoa, only in his Borat swimsuit, trembling in the corner, bruises and scars on his body.
Fucking hell.
Hijik's eyes widened. This was his lover before Trump, the one who had taken his innocence, the one who had gave each other countless rim jobs while singing Ala Ali last time. By that one kid with the extra chromosome.
Come on, you gotta get it together.
Push through, Yoa.
Yoa really let himself go. Hijik ran up, giving him his coat, Trump's face yet again flushing a deep red, only this time with extreme jealousy.
Put 5 years of cuck.
You cuck! You told me you were a virgin!
Trump muttered under his breath. That was more like a yell, but... Who did this to you? Hijik asked. One word. Vore. Yoa said faintly, before walking into the light and then passing out due to lack of proper penetration. Someone had kicked in another door. It was Tori.
Shit! I paid like 2 beans for that door.
Tori said.
Anyways, what the fuck are you two doing here? Get the fuck out of my castle before I bust the big boy out!
Tori threatened. Trump and Hijik rolled their eyes. Yeah, right, they said. Loud thumps echoed in the distance. With each loud step, a large, green and thick foot kicked the stone walls of the castle. It was Zogarius Shrekius, and he grabbed Trump, threatening to eat him. Trump yelled for help.
Hijik! Help!
Hijik did not know what to do. Tori ran up to him and Yoa, getting ready to roar them. She opened up her mouth, like the clown from It. She licked her lips, with each and every smack that she made with her mouth. Hijik asked himself more. What did I do to deserve this? He huddled around Yoa for safety, his ovaries contracting in fear. As soon as Tori began to force Hijik and Yoa's body down her deep throat, Shrek had slapped her ass. Shrek and Trump had a bond long before anyone else knew. They were bathroom buddies in kindergarten, then science partners in high school. Their relationship was older than time itself. They ravaged every bank in the country, stealing everyone's shoes, beginning to slowly make a small loan of $1 million. Shrek would never betray a longtime friend. Tori shrieked in pain, getting crunched under Shrek's crusty feet, barnacles and all sorts of fungi and life growing on his foot. It was the Vore that had made him into the monster he is today, and he deeply regretted that. Tori died of hunger. Yoa awakened, kissing Hijik on the cheek, and giving Shrek and Trump a deep hug for saving him.
The Vore has ended.
Shrek said, yet he was still unsatisfied with himself. He killed himself with his own dick, seppuku style. He sacrificed himself for all three of them as he couldn't stand himself and knowing his inner wrath would unleash soon, so he saved all of the country for that.
Subscribe to Ironically Screaming for a shout out on Pornhub.
Shrek had said as his final words, the end.